Recently, the mysterious death of the former Boeing employee in his car in a hotel hit the headlines. Reports suggest that the former Boeing employee, who acted as a whistleblower in legal proceedings against Boeing, had raised concerns about Boeing's production standards and safety issues shortly before his death. In 2010, John Barnett joined the Boeing 787 Dreamliner production plant in South Carolina's North Charleston and served as quality manager. In 2019, Barnett disclosed to the press that workers on the production line operating under significant stress were deliberately installing substandard components onto airplanes, posing serious safety risks for the airplanes. Boeing promptly refuted Barnett's accusation.
These guys didn't even know the damn system was on the airplane, nor did anybody else.
We try not to overload the crews with information that's unnecessary.
Following this, Barnett provided deposition in response to a question from Boeing's lawyer. Although scheduled for further questioning on March 9th, he didn't show up. Soon after, Barnett was found dead in his car. Could it be that conspiracy scenes often depicted in American films are real? Actually, this is not the first time Boeing has made headlines. This year alone, Boeing aircraft have faced a number of safety-related accidents. On January 5th, a door stopper on the side of the cabin of the Boeing 737 MAX 9 airplane of Alaska Airlines in the US fell off shortly after takeoff. Then on January 13th, there were noticeable cracks in the cockpit glass of the Boeing 737-800 airplane of Japan's All Nippon Airways. On January 17th, when Blinken, US Secretary of State, returned to the US from the annual meeting of the World Economic Forum in Switzerland, the Boeing 737 airplane scheduled for his flight experienced an oxygen leak failure before takeoff, forcing him to transfer to another airplane. Coincidentally, a recent clickbait post shared by a Twitter user sparked heated discussions at home and abroad. The post claimed that the C919 airplane blocked its undercarriage at an airport in Houston, United States. However, it was later revealed that the airplane involved was the famous Boeing 737 MAX 8 airplane, which shows heavy irony. From this perspective, it is evident that topics related to C919, such as being domestically developed and being a new large airplane, coupled with perceptions of unreliable quality, can easily trigger social media hilarity. Conversely, the century-old Boeing is usually regarded as a symbol of excellent quality. People have never thought that one day Boeing could encounter difficulties as basic as installing undercarriages on its airplanes. Proof by fact, only by occupying a certain stock market in the field of commercial flights can the market establish confidence in the strength of China's large airplanes from both consumer and psychological perspective. This question remains: does China possess this capability? Before answering this question, let's take a look at a figure. This figure shows the market share of civil aircraft as of 2021. From a figure, we can tell that Airbus and Boeing form an oligopoly, while Bombardier and other manufacturers have a limited market share in the regional airplane market. Over time, through corporate cooperation and market and national competition, a duopoly landscape composed of Boeing and Airbus had gradually formed in the global civil aircraft field. Will this situation change in the next 20 years with the emergence of China's self-developed large airplane? Be patient. Let's conduct a thorough analysis to find out. Commercial aircraft, narrow-body and wide-body airplanes to be precise, resembles high-end industrial chains like aircraft carriers and ships. It stands as a strategic industry with extremely high technological barriers that must be overcome to achieve China's independent property rights. Since China's entry into the WTO and integration into the globalized industrial model, the aviation manufacturing industry has not made significant breakthroughs due to its traditional recognition as a military-oriented industry and the inability to drive local economic development through scale effect, coupled with extreme high knowledge and technological barriers. The turnaround of the accident came 6 years after China joined the WTO. In 2007, China's State Council provisionally approved the official establishment of the major scientific and technological special project for the research and development of airplanes, marking the official launch of the research and development of C919 airplanes. In May 2008, Commercial Aircraft Corporation of China, or COMAC, was officially established on the bank of the Huangpu River. On May 28, 2023, a C919 airplane successfully completed its first commercial flight and was officially put into commercial operation. In just 16 years, China's airplane have undergone Boeing's century-long journey. In addition to the manifestation of China's independent property rights and autonomous behavior in the high-end manufacturing industry, another driving force lies in the great future market of commercial flights. In terms of the market, some institutions expect that by 2040, an average of 418 new airplanes will be added each year, including 312 narrow-body airplanes, assuming that the domestic market share of C919 reaches 1/3 in the future. The annual sales volume of C919 over the next 20 years will be about 104 units, according to the calculation of 653 million per airplane. The average annual sales of C919 will be approximately 67.91 billion RMB. With the commercial launch and mass production of C919, the entire airplane industry chain will forge a market worth hundreds of billions of RMB, including high added value sectors. This will, of course, lead to resistance from Boeing, Airbus, and major suppliers. However, in the commercial market, negotiation and game theory are the primary elements of development. People familiar with the high-end manufacturing field may have heard the phrase exchanging market for technology. From a diagram, we can see that every key part of the C919 airplane, such as avionics systems, electromechanical systems, communication and navigation system, follows a man-manufacturer supplier model. This model involves a collaboration between foreign-founded enterprises, Chinese enterprises, and Sino-foreign joint ventures. In fact, both Boeing and Airbus operate their business with this model. During the development process of C919, China had numerous research and development experience in many areas, including supplier management processes, system parameters, and parameter standards, providing a solid foundation of launching the C919 airplane model. However, although C919's onboard equipment is mainly provided by joint ventures, its engines still rely on imports from overseas, and the localization rate of C919 is the highest among all airframes. Therefore, the localization rate of C919 still needs to be improved. We talked about the competition among the manufacturing field previously. Another example I would like to talk about is a business competition. Perhaps a Canadian manufacturer Bombardier can offer China some valuable insight in this field. As early as 2017, the U.S. Department of Commerce proposed to increase the trade tariff on Bombardier's C-Series jet airplanes by nearly 300%. The initiator of this proposal was Boeing, alleging that Bombardier illegally obtained government subsidies and launched the dumping strategy in the U.S. narrow-body small airplane market. Boeing's behavior was purely shooting itself in the foot. The underlying reasons are that Bombardier's airplane pose a major threat to Boeing's 737 MAX 7. It can be predicted that in the future, if C919 or other air models of COMAC threaten the survival space of Boeing or Airbus airplanes of the same model, manufacturers will also face problems related to commercial trade warfare. It may be the most concerning issue for everyone. Based on our research, the current development model of Chinese airplanes can be described as a three-step model. The first step is to independently research and develop airframes and integrated systems, and to substitute complex materials of airframes with domestic materials, such as replacing metal materials with new materials, including carbon fiber composites. The second step is to jointly develop parts and components of avionics and electromechanical systems through joint ventures established by Chinese and foreign enterprises, and to nurture, optimize, absorb, and ultimately replace all or part of these components with domestically developed alternatives. The third step is to achieve a certain degree of localization in the field of aviation engines by reverse and forward breakthroughs, as well as key problem tackling on specific parts through the feedback of actual parameters and the fault correction of commercial flights. Not surprisingly, this journey is long. Although the overall output value of China's equipment manufacturing industry has exceeded 30 trillion RMB, the overall scale of the aerospace industry is still small and developing slowly. By comparison, in 2020, the output value of the US aerospace industry accounted for 1.8% of GDP and 6.3% of US exports, while the output value of China's aerospace industry only accounted for 0.35% of GDP and 0.1% of total exports. From this perspective on industrial development, compared to industries such as automobiles and household appliances, civil aviation manufacturing is one of the few industries in China that has not developed synchronously with the national economy. However, if we extrapolate the situation 20 years from now, based on the existing logic of high-end industry development, the situation might be somewhat different. Some data suggest that China will become the world's largest single aviation market by 2014. Among these projections, the number of narrow-body jet airplanes may exceed 6,000, accounting for about 60% of the total global deliveries in the next 20 years. This means that by 2040, 1 out of every 6 narrow-body airplanes will come from China. Over the span of 20 years, among the global market value of new airplane deliveries amounting to $6 trillion, the value of Chinese airplanes is expected to reach $1.3 trillion. Although this projection doesn't necessarily entail replacing Airbus and Boeing, it signifies a significant milestone for China to become the world's third pole in the commercial flight field and to challenge the monopoly position of Airbus and Boeing. Do you have any other questions about China's economy and industries? Please comment below. See you next time.